I remain Senator I.D Gyang. Our distinguished nominee, going through your resume, one can say that it is very, very rich in academic and administrative exposure and experiences. Your intellectual resourcefulness and productivity is not in doubt. You are intellectually equipped and experientially capacitated to effectively undertake for the nation this very important assignment that you are being called upon to undertake. Mr. Nominee, the argument has always been, do we need strong institutions or strong leaders? And building strong institutions requires the enabling legal framework and, of course, the people that will run those institutions. You are being picked, having served for 5 years, to again do for the nation and head an institution that is so critical to the survival of our democracy. And the independence of the Inec is what Nigerians would want to see, that it should be guaranteed not only in name but in practice. What else would you be doing, and what is it that will actually guarantee the independence of Inec under your leadership if and when you successfully pass through this screening? Secondly, just a second one, Mr. Distinguished Chair. There is this issue that has been part of our problems in election that has to do with Section 138D of the Electoral Act, that has to do with exclusion, disqualification on the unlawful exclusion, let me just say unlawful exclusion. And what some of us have seen over the years is that, of course, unlawful exclusion will be a matter of fact before the court of law. But where a party's candidate, or where a party has nominated its candidate and there is no problem, only for INEC to exclude that party on the ballot and subsequently risking the victory of the candidate and the party that emerges victorious in the election. And some persons, of course some Nigerians, have alluded to the thinking that there is some foul play where INEC, through its officials, may deliberately, at the critical moment, exclude the logo of a party that is qualified, its candidate fully nominated and qualified, and then at a critical moment nullify the entire elections. I want to find out from you, Mr. Nominee, whether some INEC staff do not act in collusion to subvert a process that INEC itself has passed and concluded as being clean and clear. Thank you.
Distinguished Senator I.D Gyang, do we need strong institutions or strong leaders? In my view, we need both, because strong leaders also create strong institutions. Strong institutions don't create themselves. Leaders create strong institutions. The challenge is, how do you sustain these strong institutions once they are established? You talked about the independence of INEC. We need two things to protect the integrity of the Commission's independence. One, we can't operate outside the provision of the enabling laws. Laws are critical. But equally critical is the character of those who are saddled with the responsibility of managing the elections in Nigeria. so much depends on the integrity that we bring on board to the work that we do. So it's actually a mixture of both. We need strong laws. We also need strong will for us to be able to implement those laws. I thought the distinguished senator, the vice chair of the committee, will talk about his own experience in Zamfara, where that kind of strong will showed in the 2019 general election. Then, distinguished Senator I.D Gyang, you talked about disqualification or the unlawful exclusion of candidates. You are talking basically about the omission from ballot papers. Could it have happened as a result of connivance with Inec officials? I have no evidence at present that Inec officials connived with whoever or anybody to deliberately exclude a political party from the ballot. But it can happen. The system is essentially manual, but we are trying our best to make it digital. In the 2019 general elections, for instance, we processed over 24,000 nominations. 24,000 nominations of candidates from political parties. So it's possible in that process for one or two cases to slip through. But I don't think there is any deliberate policy or deliberate attempt by staff of the commission to ensure the exclusion of of candidates or the exclusion of logos of political parties from the ballot paper. We know the consequences. The commission would like to be conducting one election after another simply on account of that. And I'm very happy to say that in discussion with the last Senate Committee on INEC and the National Assembly, and distinguished Senator Abubakar Kyari will bear me witness, there was an attempt to address that problem by saying that we should display the materials for election so that candidates and parties can go and check and see if their names are or not on the logo, rather than keep quiet until after elections and they go to court to get the elections nullified.